I'm about an hour away from my final destination. So I've been driving about 20 hours. But I was like, okay, I have all these different tactics. You know, you can choke sunflower seeds. I've done that. I have energy drinks. I roll the window down. All those different things. But I fall asleep behind the wheel. And then next, you know, I feel something on my side, on my right side. And then now I just feel, I'm just rolling. My car is rolling.
The story of Ernest Hausmann starts 7,500 miles away from where he grew up, in Uganda, where he was one of 23 children of two parents who were diagnosed with the AIDS virus.
Just tell me what you can about like how you wound up coming to America in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy story. My parents here in America have done a great job of just making sure that whenever I'm ready to hear about the information, to kind of tell me. When it was first brought to their attention for that a young boy was needed for adoption in Uganda, they were very quick to jump on that. So for my dad, he played quarterback at Division II school at Coney. And so he loved the game of football. And so I remember watching on TV, and I just had a very curious brain. And so I was always asked questions. I just loved everything about the game of football. I wanted to know so much about it. So I moved my room from the basement floor to upstairs. I didn't realize that the isolation really was depression. I didn't really know that was really the word for it until I didn't want to communicate to people. I just didn't want to talk to people at all. And then when I went to Nebraska, I knew that something was different because everybody, you know, you go to people's homes, you see people's interactions with people. And for myself, I'm a very observant person. And so I knew that something was different. And so I went to seek help, and I went to see a psychologist. Right away, the question was, do you want to be on medication? Do you want to pursue that? And right away I was for depression or anything, I was like, no, I didn't want to say that I was depressed.
Right. You didn't want to admit.
Yeah, I don't want to admit. I didn't want that acceptance saying that I was depressed or that, hey, I need medication. Like when I transferred to Michigan, you know, I knew I still wanted to still have that resource available. So I still tried to do that, but it was for sure high school that I knew that something was wrong, that something was different, but I just didn't have the acceptance.
Michigan conducted its first wellness check on Hausmann after he fractured his thumb against Northwestern and told people within the football program he believed he could heal the thumb on his own.
How'd you hurt your thumb?
I made a tackle. He still scored the touchdown, but I just made the tackle. But I look at my thumb and I was like, I felt it was dislocated at first, but I come off the sideline, I tell the doc, and then we go into the tent, they look at it, and they say, you could just wrap it up. I said, yeah, just put a cast on it. But yeah, for me, I thought it was just dislocated, but it wasn't. And so now I have a police officer and two social workers come to my apartment. That right then, and when those two people showed up, now I'm alarmed. Now I'm feeling paranoia. I've never had nobody show up in my apartment. I've never been anything. Then then the next day comes around, and then I meet with the psychiatrist here in Michigan. And that was the first time I met him, and that first time was very frustrating.
So the Maryland game, how do you find out you're not playing then? Like, let's backtrack there, and then we'll get to
that's why that's when my brain blocks off.
Yeah, you don't even remember.
I don't remember that week in terms of who told me I'm not playing.
Dr. Victor Hong and the Michigan mental health team and the athletic department had already decided that they were not going to clear Hausmann for the Ohio State game when he decided to leave the team on the Wednesday before the showdown.
So I'm still in the manic state, right, at this point. And I'm still thinking that I can still heal myself. So I said, I'll come back for this one last game, even though...
And that was just for your teammates?
Just for my teammates.
Right.
I was like, okay, I can play the Ohio State. I remember texting Coach Moore, I said, if you believe me, you're gonna come in there to get another X-ray with me, and you're gonna see that my thumb's healed. But he didn't show up. That's when I walk in there and I get betrayed to go, I talk to the psychiatrist, but before I even enter the room to talk to the psychiatrist the second time, I stop in the hallway, I tell the trainer, I said, I won't be playing this game. Because now I felt like I was betrayed again.
Right.
So I said that I'm not gonna be playing this last game.
That had to be really hard.
So hard to the point where I tried to leave for Uganda the day before, just so I wanted to see the game.
You wouldn't, yeah.
At all. I don't even have a visa to get into the country of Uganda. But my dad in Uganda, my biological father, he sends a letter. And so they're able to use that letter the day of. I said, because they knew, I said, hey, I'm going back to my country. Here's a letter from my father. I also had his ID on there, and they were able to get that, to use that to get me through. And that was wild. I knew that was when I was thinking back on it, the most manic I've ever, because the thoughts I was going through, what I was going there to even do was just.
What were you going there to do?
I was thinking that I was gonna go there and create a national database. All I packed in my suitcase was a computer.
That's it. No clothes.
And yeah, no clothes.
Just a computer.
Computer in my backpack, and that's it. I started as a computer science major at Nebraska, but not even that major right now currently. So what am I in the world gonna be thinking that, am I gonna be able to do such things, right? But I was going there thinking that I'm gonna be living in Uganda for a long time, either forever or for long, like that's what my mind was thinking, like I'm not going back to America.
So what do you remember about when you get to, so now you're back in Uganda, what happens over there? I
kind of hit a roadblock on the currency, the security, all these different things, as ideas. I said, well, I can't, this is not gonna work out. I said, what's next? And so that's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna join the military. I just saw a plane, fighter jet that I wanted to fly. I was like, oh, you know what, this would be very cool to fly. And so I sent an application in, and then they responded to my application saying, do you want us to go through this process? And I said yes. And that's when I left to go to Klamath Falls, which is a backpack with my Bible, and that's it.
No laptop that time?
Yeah, with my laptop.
Your laptop,
Bible, yeah.
Okay, no clothes, again.
And no clothes.
What do you remember about the drive?
I remember it was long, very long, and I was getting tired. I remember I got pulled over at Wyoming.
For speeding?
For speeding.
Okay.
And I've never been pulled over in my life. It was right when it was about to start to get daytime, but I passed a cop. I was going the fastest my car could go. At that time.
Were you over 100?
I was over 100.
Yeah, over 100.
I was over 100, yeah. But nothing in my brain is registering to me to, oh, there's a cop there. Oh, maybe you should slow down.
You're just going.
I'm just going. I say I have a mission to go to. And so then I see by the ramp coming down, another cop comes through and obviously flashed my lights. So obviously I pull over and, we just go through that. And then I just keep going my way. Before the car ride, I dropped my phone off outside at T-Mobile, like by Wayne County. I threw it out the car.
You threw it out the window?
Yeah,
Why?
I stopped, pull off to the road, and threw my phone off so nobody could track me. So now I have no contact. All I have is radio. Thank goodness my car has GPS navigation. To put that in so I can get to Klamath Falls. I'm about an hour away from my final destination. So I've been driving about 20 hours. I remember before I was swerving a little bit, but I was like, okay, I have all these different tactics. You can chew sunflower seeds. I've done that. I have energy drinks. I roll the window down, all different things, but I fall asleep behind the wheel. And then next, I feel something on my side, on my right side. And then now I'm just rolling. My car is rolling. Once the car is stopped, the automatic emergency system goes off. I remember there's a man. He's like, "You okay, sir?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Can you get some help?" And I was like, "EMT's on the way," or something like that. Something along the lines of that. And so I get my seatbelt buckled. I crawl out of the sunroof. That's how I crawl out of the sunroof that was on the side. But then I see his headlights. Before I even get out there, I see headlights come through. I'm in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. By the grace of God, that somebody sees me and see me crawling through. And that's what I asked him. I said, "Did I hit somebody?" They said, "There's no one out here."
That's what that person then calls, because the EMT is coming. They're
on their way. Ambulance comes. They do all the checks. I'm walking fine. They do all my blood work. Not a blood work, but just check my vitals. They clear me. And I don't really know what it was that really made stop me from going to the military at that point. But then I remember I created an episode of the podcast. I remember I got back here to my apartment. I texted my financial advisor. I said, "Can we, you want to meet?" But here I'm still telling him all these things of I feel like I'm being betrayed, and I'm still texting. I'm still texting, still in a manic state still. And I leave the door, and I had Uber comes, sitting right there. Open the door, put one foot in, and here comes all the police officers. You know, he shows me the court order form, and then so they put the hands on my back, and you know, they take me to the hospital, and that was probably that's one of the first feelings of like fear set in for me, because it was the walking through a hospital in a town that which you've played played so many games and a captain, and I remember saying something when I walked in. I said, I'll be fine. This is not right. I remember I think some along those lines to those people I'm walking through as I go. And so I lay there by myself in the hospital for that night. Now I get assessed by the doctor there, ask me the questions. Then I'm like getting a little bit hostile, a little bit like, what's really going on? Like, why are you taking so long to make a decision? Mm-hmm. I said, it doesn't take you long to make a decision, or if I'm safe or not, all these other things. But now I realize, okay, it's like no one's gonna come save me. Now I'm by myself.
Yeah.
Now it's like realizing that you might be in trouble.
It was still everybody else, not you.
Yeah.
Right. When did that flip?
Yeah. So I was in psychiatric ward for about like 3 or 4 days. I was in there before they allowed me to have clearance for like the other main room for the mental hospital.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until then I realized that like something was actually wrong with me, and that I needed more actual help. The turning point was the structure. So I'm someone that loves the structure aspect of things. Like that's something that I love, that kind of helps me, guides me through my day, right? And what they did at this mental hospital that I found that now I look back upon that really helped me was the schedule. Yeah. They provide a schedule for you every single day. So it was kind of more like football. I don't even realize yet to the extent of really football really saved me. It really did. I was isolated at home in high school. When here in college, the things I'd rather just wake up and go to the facility to do things, and rather than that's what I would spend my time with when I was by myself, which I'd rather go to the facility and do things about football. So yeah, football did prevent the manic episode happening sooner. Once I leave the hospital, I go back to Nebraska. So that's when I went to Nebraska.
Okay.
Like I fly out, and while I'm driving in an Uber to the airport, Michigan's playing against Texas.
Okay.
Like a football game. So I'm watching that a little bit on my phone.
So now you're okay with watching it?
Now I'm okay with watching a little bit, yeah. I still can't finish it. But yeah, once I the flight back to Michigan, that's when I announced on my things I'm gonna medically retire. Because for me, I was like, how do I return back to my apartment? Or back to Michigan with no answer, what's going on? The first phone call that I made before any of this happened was my parents.
Yeah.
And that was the first phone call I made with them to ask them. I said, like, is this something like, because I first wanted to make sure that like, because one of the main things was like, I knew I was bipolar, that I was diagnosed. So I wanted to make sure that, is this part of me being bipolar, that I'm wanting to go back to football all of a sudden, just, is that a way?
So your guard was up for like, am I making this decision for the right reasons, or am I just having an episode, whatever, right?
And the first person to support me was my mom. Yeah. And she was the first person, and she said, absolutely. She said, no, absolutely. She knows the dreams. She knows the sacrifice I put into it. And she was right along the board with it. She said, no, like you're making the right decision.
What do you want teams to know? Because I'm sure like some teams are going to look at this and say, well, he left the team at a critical point of the year. And how are we going to be sure that doesn't happen again?
When teams ask me that, it's who I am as a person.
Yep.
Who I've always been. I've always been a hard worker. I've always been a disciplined human being. And at the end of the day, you have to go back on who I was before all this even happened, because I can't control when the manic thing was going to happen. They just have to understand and that who I was before this, and know that that's who they're going to be getting moving forward, and someone that's even better because of the more discipline that he's on.
You're wearing the helmet on your chest right now. Where's your relationship with Michigan football right now?
I haven't really been in the facility at all yet. I have not been. But I know Michigan always holds a special place in my heart, regardless of how it ended, regardless of what it is. I always know that I wore the wing helmet. I bled, sweat, tears for the wing helmet. It means so much to me, and it's always just been a blessing.
What do you think the 8-year-old who put that thing up on it, the I Will Go Pro thing up on his wall, what do you think the 8-year-old would think of you right now?
I think he'd be speechless. he would first say, I'm very proud of you, because the things that I've had to go through, only myself could get through. And not only that, only myself could help the people moving forward, because the things that I've been able to see and what now moving forward that I can help moving forward is going to be just on a whole different level. Yeah, I would have never imagined. I remember I have a picture, I still have it, and it's just me talking to like the DBs. We're doing our pregame warm up, and it's just me smiling with a big smile, and to just know how much like the team means to me. And that's the one thing about Mission I love, is like the team, because that's everything it means to me, is the players and everything, the whole organization, because that's what it takes to win a football game. It's not about one individual person. It takes everybody in an organization, and that's who an NFL team is going to be getting. Is someone that cares about the whole organization and how the perception is, because it's more than just a game. It's always been more than just a game, and I want to push that to make sure that people will understand that it is.
He's now working towards the draft and planning to tell his story, not just to get into the NFL, but to help others who might be struggling the same way he was.